Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Thursday, everyone. Hope you are enjoying your week. Guys, it is a great week for me. I am on vacation. A lot of stuff going on right now. A couple days ago, took my family to the beach over in Corpus Christi. Spent a couple days there. Enjoyed our time. Went to the aquarium there. Guys, it's awesome. If you haven't been to the Corpus Christi Aquarium and you're within a good driving distance, check it out. It's super cool. We liked it a lot. My daughter loved it. Also, of course, today is her first day of first grade. So walked her over this morning, dropped her off. Very busy, obviously. A lot of parents dropping their kids off for their first day of school here in the area. I believe Austin actually starts next week. We started a couple days earlier. Don't know why, whatever. Anyway, but I'm still on vacation for a couple days, so I got today and tomorrow kind of to myself to do a couple things, relax a little bit. But yeah, enjoying it definitely, and I'm glad I get time to do a podcast because I got a couple things I want to talk about today. Of course, if you guys need anything, fire back on the social media groups and Gmail account, or you can hit me up personally on Instagram and Twitter, Slim Dayspring 12. And as always, guys, if you enjoy the show, head over to my Patreon page and donate $1. That's like $1 gives me the motivation to do a better show and maybe get some better equipment, because I do this show with a $20 microphone and an 8-year-old computer, as I always say. But anyway, guys, even if you just want to sit back and enjoy, that's cool too. I got a couple things to talk about. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 topics to go off today. So sit back and let's get to it. Alright, so first thing I want to talk about is the thing I just finished watching, which is the Season 2 finale of Sci-Fi's Krypton. Now, if you guys don't watch Krypton, it's a pretty good show. For a sci-fi show, of course, too. But being that I am a big Superman fan, I checked it out from the beginning. I've enjoyed it. It's, a good play on the Superman mythology. I definitely enjoy it more than, say, another show that played off the Batman mythology that is on Fox and is no longer on. I will not say it, but Pennyworth, the other Batman-less show, I heard is actually pretty decent, so I'm probably going to check that out sometime soon, hopefully. If I can find a way to watch it, I'll check that out. But Krypton, I really enjoy it. It's got a good sci-fi element. I talked to my brother about it a couple weeks ago, and we were talking, and I feel it's got almost kind of like that Dune feel to it as well, where it's, very rich in sci-fi mythology from another world. Really liked it, really enjoyed it. This season has been great, of course, featuring such classic Superman villains as Brainiac, General Zod, Doomsday. Good stuff happening all around. But I'm going to talk about the season finale, so if you haven't watched it and you don't want to get spoiled, pause, watch it, come back, and of course talk about it on social media later. Okay, so a lot of good Easter eggs at this juncture in the series. So let's start off here by probably the one thing I loved most was Seg, of course, challenging Zod to a fight. And what happens? He gives out not only my favorite Superman line in any film, but also one of my favorite lines in movie history, actually. My number one favorite line in movie history is from Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, where he's standing out on the platform in the Sarlacc pit and he says, "Jabba, this is your last chance. Free us or die." Love it. Second favorite one, Superman Returns, Christopher Reeves, "General, would you care to step outside?" And it's funny because it was 2 years ago during Crisis on Earth X in the Arrowverse when Supergirl said it, and I loved it, and now I love it again when Seg-El says it to General Zod. Awesome. So I geeked out a little bit about that. I'm sure I'm going to take a screenshot and post that up on social media later just because I loved it so much. So with General Zod, of course, they took him and, they knew they couldn't put him in the Phantom Zone. They knew they couldn't put him in regular prison. So the Black Delilah? It's not the Black Delilah. Black Delia? I think that's what it is. Black Dahlia is what it is, of course. And he's in that trance where, he's invading Earth in his mind because that's his dream scenario. So, yeah, that's what they're doing with Zod. I don't think they're going to keep him there, of course. It's a fix for now, of course. Next season, I'm sure he's going to escape somehow. Speaking of villains that escaped, Doomsday. He's still alive. Of course, anyone who thought he didn't blow up on that moon, you're crazy. It's Doomsday, so he's still alive and kicking. Not sure where they're going to go with that, but of course, I'm sure he's going to wake up from that ice to cause some trouble for our heroes. Lobo's back. Lobo. We saw him at the beginning of the season. Very interesting, a little different than what I pictured him to be. He's more rambunctious. I heard there are talks about a possible spinoff with that character. I don't think I can see that type of character getting his own show, but he's fun to watch as a supporting character in this setting, especially the way he interacts with Seg-El. I like him a lot, so I'm cool with him being another supporting character, making him a little more dominant in this next season, given the fact that he and Seg have decided to team up to go after Brainiac. That'd be really cool. And of course, Brainiac, he's got Jor-El, the father of Superman. Could definitely change some lore. At the end, we saw him with Jor-El in his ship, and he says, "We're going to a place where you will be a god," or something like that, paraphrasing, of course. And then they flash all the way across the stars to Earth, which I don't think they really needed to do. I mean, maybe I'm smarter than the average viewer, but when he said a place where you could be a god, I immediately said, of course, they're taking him to Earth, right? They're taking him to, our solar system where he can juice up and become powerful. So the fact that you flashed all the way to Earth, you really didn't need to do, in my opinion. But they did it. Oh, well. And at the beginning of the episode, when we were in Zod's dream, you did get, of course, the little Sector 2814, which, is a little bit of Green Lantern reference there, which is cool. But, of course, going to Nessa, who is off to find Jor-El as well. She lands on a planet, but the coolest thing probably we see the Omega symbol, which is a symbol of Darkseid. So immediately when I saw that, I was thinking maybe she's on New Genesis, perhaps. It's pretty, of course. Maybe she's on New Genesis. Maybe we'll get to see Allfather and Orion and all them, but then she looks up, and what does she see? She sees flying people with wings, Thanagarians, Hawkman, Hawkgirl. Waiting to see that. Oh, that was awesome. Okay, so we're going to get some Thanagarians hopefully in next season. Maybe we'll bring in some new gods. That will be super cool. I loved the way they treated Doomsday in this season. So I'm anxious to see what they can do with the new gods. At least throw Orion in there. I would love to see Mr. Miracle and Barda and the Furies and all that. But, I'll settle for Orion. Mr. Miracle will be super cool too. But anyway, the way they gave us so many little Easter eggs at the end of the season, any Superman fan or DC fan has got to be psyched for next season, is really what it's all about. So I liked this season. I'm anxious to see where it goes from here. And of course, Adam. Adam got his rocket pack like he has in the comic books, got to walk again with it. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on in Season 3 of Krypton, but I will be sure to be there, and I'll be sure to talk about it on the show, because it's exciting, guys. But if you haven't seen Krypton, I spoiled it for you, but maybe I teased you just enough to go back and watch it. Start at Season 1, of course, and go from there, guys. Hopefully you'll like it. But fire back on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know what you think about Krypton Season 2 finale. Alright, guys, next up, I'm talking a couple of trailers. So starting off, we got a new and allegedly final trailer for the upcoming Netflix series, The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. Now, of course, this is going to be a spin-off, remake, I don't know what you want to call it, of the original 1982 film, I believe it was. But anyway, the synopsis is, quote, "Return to the world of Thra, where three Gelflings discover the horrifying secret behind the Skeksis power and set out to ignite the fires of rebellion and save their world." So, Dark Crystal, kind of a cult classic, I guess you would call it, done by the wizard that was Jim Henson. Back in the day, he helped write the story, master of puppetry, all that stuff. So, it's got its own little following, of course, and people are excited for this. And of course, with this too, it's still being done by puppets, just like the original film, to where you get something a little different besides like computer animation, a little different storytelling, of course, going old school, you might want to call it. But anyway, a new trailer dropped for it. The series comes out August 30th on Netflix. So, I remember Dark Crystal. I kind of put that and Labyrinth kind of together in a little clump, kind of like how I put Tron and The Last Starfighter kind of in a clump because of their technology. The way it was done are very similar, I guess you would call it. But I haven't seen the original Dark Crystal film, and I don't know how long. So much I don't hardly remember any of it. So, what I did last night, if you want to, you can hop on Netflix, and they have the original Dark Crystal film on Netflix. So, I sat down last night and I rewatched the Dark Crystal. Can't remember the last time I saw it, actually. I remember it, but I can't remember the last time I saw it. So, I sat down to watch it, and it was funny because I was in my bedroom. I turned on the TV, and my wife was sitting next to me in the bed, and she had her headphones on. She was listening to one of her audiobooks, and she was playing games on her phone. And every once in a while, I'd see her look up at the TV. And about halfway through the movie, she pulled her headphones out, and she's like, "What is this? It is so weird." And I'm like, "It's the Dark Crystal." Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, so from a new perspective, as far as the original film, it's definitely the classic hero's journey in a fantasy world. Jen, he's this reluctant hero who never thought he'd amount to anything, so to speak. So having to step up and return the crystal shard to the Dark Crystal to stop the Skeksis from gaining ultimate power. It's the classic fantasy hero journey story, no doubt about it. So with this trailer, I looked at this one after having just watched the film last night. And, it seems like it's almost like a retelling, it seems, because you have the Skeksis in there. You have two Gelflings who are, trying to stop them from gaining power. But there's no Jen, there's no Kira. I'm not quite sure if they're just taking that original story and reimagining it, giving it a bit of an update perhaps into a series. I mean, there are more Gelflings in there besides Kira and Jen, so maybe they're playing with the story a little bit, again, updating it a little bit too. That could be it, which I'm fine with. The film, to be honest, I get the overall story arc is fine. It could definitely use for an update, but the cast, of course, in this looks like it's going to be killer. You got Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones. You got Mark Hamill, Leah Headley, Jason Isaac, Eddie Izzard, Toby Jones, Keegan-Michael Key, Simon Pegg, Mark Strong, Sigourney Weaver, Benedict Wong, and then isn't what's his name from Kingsman in it? Taron Egerton. Yeah, there he is, Taron Egerton. Yeah, he's playing, I think, the main guy in it, I believe. So yeah, great cast going along with this, and the trailer seems interesting. Haven't gone back now and rewatched The Dark Crystal to kind of better understand what it was all about. I'm definitely more excited for it than I was this time yesterday when I had no idea what the original Dark Crystal was about. Given the fact that in today's modern society you can update the effects a little bit, update the storytelling, spread it out a little more with a series rather than just an hour-and-a-half film. Okay, I'm going to check this out. Definitely going to check it out. Let me know if you guys are too. Let me know if you're excited for this. Of course, let me know what you think of the original Dark Crystal. If you still think it holds up today, I don't know about that. But I think, taking that basic story from the film and giving it a modern update for this Netflix series, I'm excited to see what they do with it. All right, and another trailer that came out, I think it was yesterday or Tuesday, is the newest trailer for the second season of Star Wars Resistance, gonna be on Disney XD. Now, of course, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Love me Star Wars, of course, lifelong fan, all that stuff. Star Wars Resistance, I haven't finished season 1, just as a confession, because I'm not that into it. Comparing to, say, some of the other animated series like Clone Wars and Rebels, I think it speaks to a younger demographic, and also the fact that it's about these fighter pilots. and not Jedi. My favorite thing about Star Wars is the Jedi versus Sith, the Force. I'm a lore versus war guy, hands down. So to get me into this show is, a little bit of a stretch. So I think I watched like the first 6 or 7 episodes of season 1, and then I quit because, I watched a lot of shows, and unless I'm really craving to watch it, I just couldn't. So I stopped watching it, but I am planning on rewatching season 1. I'm not just gonna abandon the show entirely. I'm probably gonna sit back and when it comes out on DVD, binge watch it. So I will watch it. Season 2, I'm not excited about because, like I said, I haven't finished season 1, and what I've seen of season 1, I haven't been completely psyched about. Now, there are a couple things in the trailer that did, have me question a few things. Number one, actually, was the Colossus is on the run, it looks like. Again, I haven't finished season 1, so I don't know how it ended, but it looks like it's on the run from the First Order. And one of the planets looks like they stop at is Batu, of course, which is the setting of the newest Disney Parks land that they just created. So, of course, got to tie in the parks in there with everything from books to comics and all that stuff to try to get people to go to the park. I get that. Of course, you see Kylo Ren, you see Captain Phasma, those familiar people in there. Again, I just wasn't super excited about it. The series itself, it says the epic conclusion. So does that mean that they're not going to go any further beyond this season? It makes sense. This is set before The Force Awakens. And, you've got Poe Dameron in there. He's with the Resistance, of course, and he recruits, Kaz, into it all. So I can see it ending much like how, Rebels had to end in order to let Rogue One and A New Hope take place. Same thing with this. I think this one has to end to let The Force Awakens happen. So if it's only 2 seasons, it is what it is. That's fine. I think Disney and Lucasfilm have other things in mind when it comes to Star Wars animation. Of course, I'm more excited for Clone Wars to come back on Disney Plus. That's more my cup of tea. But the same thing with Clone Wars was they started out very kiddie-ish in my opinion, and the seasons matured as it went on. By the time you got to season 5, good stuff for any age is what it was. So maybe this is one of the things where season 2 will be a little bit more mature than what season 1 was, perhaps. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna rewatch season 1. Maybe you'll get me more excited for season 2. I don't know, but if you guys like Resistance, fire back, of course, on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know why you like it, why you think I should get on board and watch season 1 as quickly as possible. All right, guys, and the last thing for today, it looks like Hasbro has cast their Snake Eyes for their upcoming solo Snake Eyes film based on the G.I. Joe property. They cast Henry Golding, who is best known for his role in Crazy Rich Asians. Now, he's also been in films such as A Simple Favor, and he's going to be in an upcoming film called Last Christmas with Game of Thrones alumni Emilia Clarke. They're looking to, get G.I. Joe up and running. You do have the 2 previous G.I. Joe films with Channing Tatum and The Rock. Not that great, honestly. I didn't love G.I. Joe as a kid, but the G.I. Joe movie I think is great. G.I. Joe movie and Transformer movie. I'll point out I'm not a big Transformers and G.I. Joe fan, but those 2 movies I think were very well done, very great in their storyline and maturity. So I'm a fan of just those films. So when it comes to G.I. Joe, I'm hoping for some good stuff. Those 2 previous films were not good stuff at all. They actually kind of sucked, in my opinion. So I'm liking that maybe they're going to get some more stuff going. Word has it they want to get a Chuckles film going. Chuckles, I know him from, of course, the movie. He's been in other things as well. But I think the first thing they're looking to get out is this Snake Eyes movie because he is one of the more predominant characters in the G.I. Joe world, and I think it was in the films he was played by Ray Park, Darth Maul himself, so that was cool. He's very silent, he never talks, They say maybe he might talk a little in this one. I don't know about that. I think it'd be really cool to see a main character that never talked, kind of like in the film Dread with Carl Urban, where you never actually saw Carl Urban take off the mask. He was just always had the mask on. You never saw his eyes. That got a little slant to it. I think would be really cool. But anyway, they're looking to premiere this film October 16th, 2020. As for the actor himself, haven't seen Crazy Rich Asians. I saw Simple Favor, which I enjoyed, so I know who the guy is. And the trailer for Last Christmas just came out. I don't know, because, number one, he's going to be wearing a mask pretty much the entire time, I'm hoping. Number two, he's going to be pretty silent. So really, it's all about the moves. I mean, in that first couple G.I. Joe films, you got Ray Park because he's got the moves. This guy, I've never seen him do any kind of moves or anything like that. So I really can't tell you if he's going to be any good as a Snake Eyes character. But as far as making G.I. Joe films, great. As far as making solo G.I. Joe films first, I don't know. I mean, I think he'd probably better starting off with team films, in my opinion. Ensemble cast, I think, could work great, especially because the G.I. Joe cartoon had such a great eclectic crew. They were all very different from each other. You got Duke and what is it? Who did Dwayne Rock Johnson play? What was his name? It's blanking. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. What is his name? I can picture him in the animated movie too. Oh gosh. Anyway, and then you got Snake Eyes, you got Scarlet, you got Flint, Chuckles, all that stuff. Great barrage of characters to play off of that are very different from each other, that they could play off each other very well, much like in Avengers kind of style, where they're all very different characters and coming together to form as a team is going to kind of be what the film is all about. But they're going a different way with it with solo films. So this guy's cast as Snake Eyes. Okay, whatever, let's see how it goes. I'll put my faith in Hasbro and the director until the time is come. And the director is actually a guy named Robert Schweitz. Of course, I mispronounced that name. That's what I do. But he's the guy who directed a couple films in the Divergent series with Shailene Woodley. Looks like he directed Insurgent and Allegiant. Never saw any of those films because honestly, they look stupid. In my opinion, if you like those films, that's cool, but I never saw any interest in them. And from what I hear, critic-wise, they weren't that great either. So take that for what you will, guys. I want to see G.I. Joe. Is this a good way to go with it? Only time will tell. But time for you to fire back, of course, Twitter, Facebook group, Gmail. Let me know what you think about this young gentleman, Henry, being cast as Snake Eyes. What do you think of them trying to get G.I. Joe off the ground again into films with solo films? Or do you think they should start off with a team film? That's kind of my own personal opinion. But let me know, guys. And that will be it for me today. I got to go. I got a lot of relaxing to do. No, seriously. I got a couple errands I got to run. Planning on, taking a nice little leisurely sit in my inflatable pool in my backyard. I'm going to get some rum out. I'll take a nice little picture, letting people know, hey, it's the first day of school and I'm just chilling. That's great. Another thing on my agenda today, of course, Avengers Endgame came out on Tuesday. I went through special features. Now I need to watch the commentary. I super enjoy anything the Russo brothers do. Their commentary with Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War. They make some good commentary. So I'm looking forward to watching Endgame with the Russo brothers commentary. That's on my agenda for today. Whether I get to it or not, I still have tomorrow if I don't. So there it is. But okay, guys, time to fire back, of course, on Facebook group, Gmail account, Twitter, of course. Let me know what you think about any of the topics I have discussed today, and we'll get that going. But hopefully I'll be back next week with some more cool stuff. And until then, may the Force be with us all.